This week at Morning Glory Motorsports, we ask ourselves, how does this even happen? Is bigger always better? And how do you bend the unbendable? The answer to none of that and more coming right up. So stay tuned. Now, while I've got it in the air and all this stuff on the front, still have the bumper and stuff and it's still in place, I have an intercooler here for that F100. I'm gonna stick it up in there and see what kind of room we have and probably order a core and build one. This is a Treadstone 1245. I recommend these quite often. They're pretty cheap and I made a lot of power through one. So I think how they number these is 12 means 1200 horsepower and the 445 means 4.5 inches thick. But we're gonna stick it up here and just get an idea. Again, this is just for reference. We're going to be using a much better core for this, and I am not saying that these are bad. If you're on a budget, these are great. Like I said, I made a lot of power through one. I just want to show you what I'm seeing here. This is just a rough guesstimate, but I've looked up cores on the internet and we're going to go with either a Garrett or a Bell core. So there's definitely much cheaper cores out there, but Bell's made in America and Garrett is probably the best. The Garrett core is the most efficient, but it is also the biggest. I stuck this back in here and see how these are going to kind of exit here. So with the custom end tanks, we're going to get it to exit here in between the two, and then there's still plenty of room here. So once I get the core here, I'll stick it up in there and show you kind of more, probably with a little more CAD. I think that core size is perfect, but we're going to need these to come out here. So that's kind of why I want to build my own. They may make one. I'll look. Well, now that we've kind of figured out what kind of intercooler core we need, we're just going to take this out. This has a manual steering rack in it. I'm going to try and put a power rack in it. And this is also not how you set up these. Good thing this never went down the road. So yeah. Let's just get all this stuff out. There is the old stuff, and here is the new K-member. It is a Maximum Motorsports. Next up is the spindles. So this had Fox body spindles on it. And now we are changing it back to stock. You can only get used ones, so I have to clean them up. So this is how they showed up. Good. Luckily these can be... I'm gonna get this cleaned up and I guess read the instructions for the brakes. And so we have TBM brakes for the front of this. They are the XS3 street brakes. Looks like you get a pretty detailed, some stickers. Get a pretty detailed instruction kit here, it looks like. So now I just wish I knew how to read. Hopefully there's pictures. Oh, beautiful. So let's go ahead and take everything off these spindles, get them torn down, and we'll get them cleaned up. I like to just take a flat disc and knock the castings down. Just kind of makes a cleaner appearance. Well, it would seem someone has already tried to get this cap off, so that kind of scares me. Upon further inspection, they mangled this thing getting it out before and then glued it back on. So good. We'll probably replace these bearings anyway, because you never know how many miles is on this stuff that you buy. All right, we got these all cleaned up. We have the bearings off. Now we have to do what they want us to do. Bolt on supplied drill fixture bracket and use a 24/64 drill bit to drill out the spindle. Look at this, it's supplied. Boy, this is above and beyond, isn't it? Wow, is that ever nice? They provide you a nice billet fixture and a sharp drill bit. And it looks like they want you to cut an ear off, one of the old brake mounts off. I don't know. I guess let's continue on. Have some Loctite that they asked for. Have the spindles painted. They don't look too bad. Look a lot better than they did. Now it looks like, So it looks like we might be done. I need the new hub assemblies, the wheel bearings. I don't have those. So we'll go ahead and install these into the car and maybe put the rotors together down here. Have our freshly painted spindles. Go ahead and install them. Our new-ish Viking coilovers. All right, we have the spindle installed, tightened. I didn't tighten the ball joint, but now we install this bracket with the fancy side out. All right, now that's about as far as we can go until we get the bearings. But we'll assemble the rotors and then we'll be ready for when it comes in. Flat side down, I guess, huh? I didn't know what this 1, 2, 3 was, but looks like 3 different bolt patterns, I guess. I don't know. All right, we'll do another 2. So I think I have the bearings still, the old hub assemblies. I'm gonna pop them on and fit all this because we're gonna send the brake calipers out to get powder coated, which kind of should look pretty cool. But I wanna make sure it all fits before it comes back and they're fresh powder, and you know what I'm talking about. Really? Nothing fell? That is plenty good. All right, we know everything works, so we'll pull them off and send them to get powder coated. So I've got the new K-member in, struts hooked up. I've removed everything from the bottom of this car, and I don't know if you can see, but it's not in the best shape. So I'm going to remove the rest of this under here. We're going to give this a clean, straighten the pinch welds, and then we're going to refresh it probably about the same color that it already is. This like greenish thing that Ford used on the underside of cars. So I have to fix these. I just don't even know what was going on, you know? This one's real bad. It's flat. I don't know what possesses people to just jack them up behind the pinch welds. I think I've fixed, I don't know, 10 or so of them. I don't know. But stop jacking them up by the pinch welds. I don't even know what to say about this. It kind of looks like one of them drums. Drop. Drop. Hey, drop. Go girl. Sit. Go girl. Ready? Get it. So it is time to move on to the engine and transmission. So this is a little different than what we normally do. We have a 6-speed. Gonna be shifting our own gears. Well, I'm not. So we have a Tremec T56 Magnum. These are like, the cars came with a T56. The T56 Magnum, I guess, has bigger parts in it. TR6060 stuff, I don't know. Anyway, it's an upgrade. And then that's the same 5.4 we used in the last car that has a giant hole in it. So the only difference is this mid plate is only a little bit. So this is generally what we use for when we're not doing an entire, entire race car build. I'm not real sure when you're supposed to move to a mid plate. There's been people that go real fast on just motor mounts, but generally when you switch to an aluminum block, we like to go to mid plate at least, kind of no matter the power. So let me show you why. I've got two motor mounts here. This is a solid motor mount. It's for a 4.6, but they bolt up in the same spot. This is a 1 of 1. Well, it's 1 of 300, but it only came in one car. This is for a 2000 Cobra R that came with a 5.4 liter in a new Edge Mustang. It's the only one. So these are special. They sit lower than these, like the mounting points. If you did stock to stock mounting, I don't know how easy that is to see, and the math. These are lower because the 5.4 is taller. So these are probably as low as this is tall compared to a 4.6, if that makes any sense. So anyway, the main reason we go to a mid plate, at least on an aluminum block, maybe over 800 horse, I don't know. There's probably no scientific thing, but anyway, these bolt here on the sides. When your engine torques, it kind of torques like this. It wants to roll. Anyway, when it does that, and you have motor mounts, it's trying to pull the block from here in the same place on the other side. So it's trying to pull, as it rolls, it's like pulling the block, trying to pull the block apart. So it'll like pull the mains a little bit on an aluminum block. I don't think it does it on a cast iron block. Don't know. So the idea behind the mid plate is all that energy is transferred through all these bolts and along this line instead of along two lines that want to pull like the mains apart. Anyway, that's just how we do it. I'm sure people have made 1,000 horsepower with an aluminum block and just mounts. I'm sure they have. But would you rather be safe or sorry? I don't know. I'd rather be nothing. So we'll put the transmission on this and pop it in there. So I took the engine back out because I marked where the mid plate was going to be. We'll go ahead and set it back down in there and then get the transmission on it. Okay, let's try this again. I ran the screw right out of the jack because I didn't pay attention to which way the impact was going. So, let's try again. Well, I've run into a little snag here. I've never put a magnum in one of these cars, so I'm not 100% sure on what you had to do, but let me show you. It would seem as though the front of the shifter hits the transmission tunnel. So I guess a little bit of that has to be cut out. So we have it up in the air and we have a mid plate in it. And I have this transmission crossmember in it, which is a stock one for a T56. I think we're gonna build a custom crossmember for the transmission. I have a couple here. Let me show you a little bit of difference in them. So this is a stock crossmember from a Cobra for a T56. And it has pretty wide holes, but this is mine, so I kind of don't want to give it up. But also, the mount isn't serviceable. It's riveted onto this piece. It's not serviceable. So newer ones kind of look like this. Same bolt pattern. Now, so on the T56 Magnum, they put two sets of holes here. So the wider ones is the stock mount. If we go this way. So the wider ones is the stock mount that I just showed you. And these narrow ones, I don't know why they put them here, but this mount is for a Turbo 400, Turbo 350, and I think it fits Power Glide too. You can get this right down at Advanced Auto, AutoZone. They all carry them for very cheap. And it's a serviceable and it's a better bushing for especially what we're trying to do here, make all this power. And it lines up to these holes. Ish. Well, anyway, it also isn't much higher. I don't know if it is at all. Let's see. All right, so it is a little higher than the stock one, but that doesn't really matter for us because we're building this custom crossmember. We'll put this on and see what we come up with. So here is what I have. You have to score when you try and bend 6061. You have to score it where you want to bend it, and you re-weld it. So I bend it from the other side, so this side's welded. So this is the last one I have to do, and I'll get it cleaned up and show you after. And we have one transmission crossmember. Now, I only have 60-61 in 1/4 inch, 60-61 aluminum in 1/4 inch. So, like I said before, you cannot bend 60-61. Well, just kick my ass. So you have to score it and then you weld it. Once I tear this back apart, because this is definitely not the last time this is going in, I will draw this up. Actually, I might do it now. I'll draw this up, get all the angles and stuff that are needed. Probably have Send Cut Sand cut this out of, I don't know, I'll see what's on the website. 3003 or 5052. Probably have them bend it, it'll all be one piece. But there we go. Tighten it up. Move on to the front. One transmission crossmember for T56 Magnum with a Power Glide or Turbo 400 transmission mount. So now it's serviceable and it's poly, or whatever they call it. Well, we've seemed to run into our first big snag. As you can see, this intake is enormous. So I don't know how much you know about mod motors, just in general, but they were out for a long time, but apparently not many people seem to care about their performance. Intake options for these cars are extremely limited. And it may be, actually I don't know why, other than not a lot of people took interest in them. So this is a completely custom intake from Hogan. They've made countless intakes for us. The customer picked this out. I did not. I have no part in any of this stuff. So we have a bit of an issue with it being so tall. So when I try and close the hood, it hits. It's also pretty tall. I don't even know if it's going to clear the front. They're made this tall to clear an alternator. The alternator sits right here. This one is excessive. It does not need to be that tall. I don't know. I guess I'm going to cut the hood. If you say lower the engine is already lowered. It has spacers in the K-member. You can't see them, but so the engine's already lower than stock. Can't go much lower, being a street car, and then the oil pan's going to sit too low. So we're kind of at either cut a hole in the hood. Well, first back here to see if it even sits down far enough, and then if it hits here, I don't know. Either cut a hole in this hood or get a stock hood. Or get a different intake. Those are our options. This could end up being a very expensive oversight. I think we have it fitting. Even cut those Cool. Is there room here? No. So that piece needs shaved a little more yet. I think other than that, let's see, does it hit over here? Yeah. Alright, so that piece needs shaved a little more. Not a big deal. Crisis averted. So we're not ready for this yet, the intake, but I wanted to set it on here and get an idea because I saw it was enormous. So at least now we have it fitted. We don't have to order a new intake or cut a hole in it. My goodness. Look at how nice this is. Billet, dash 12 fuel rails. I'm almost afraid to touch it. Okay, I think we're gonna end this video here. New brakes, K-member, engine and trans are in it. Well, a mock-up. Giant intake, hood's cut for the giant intake. Somehow, it closes and misses. I thought for sure this was gonna hit here. But there's clearance. You can't really, you don't wanna take the engine down much more, but irregardless, pinch welds are no longer flat. Yeah, so I think next episode, we're gonna be mounting radiator, condenser. I got the intercooler core, so we can do the end tanks for it. What else? Oh, I have to bend a bar. So I'm gonna try and work in that, you know, how to get to your bends without using the program. So I guess stay tuned for that. So anyway, I am hoping to have a website set up soon for merch. So I guess be on the lookout for that. If you made it this far, like, subscribe if you're enjoying the content. And thanks for watching.